Very good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. June just going like just like that. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234 to kick things off. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a forecast near you for the Northeast. Mike, looking purty.
Very, very party. Oh, yeah. We got all the stops coming out with the lower humidity, sunshine, clear sky. I mean, you wake up this morning, you look outside and you go, what a gem, especially after the last few days of the clouds, the showers, that dreary weather. Now, listen, it's rain we really need considering how dry the weather has been. But over the next few days, a lovely round of sunshine. And it was nice that the rain held off until after the weekend, especially with that lovely weather that we enjoyed both days on Saturday and Sunday. So over the next few days, there is a slightly cooler trend, and it's less humid, it's drier. It'll feel quite pleasant out east. Out west, however, you still have above average temperatures with this stubborn high pressure that's providing quite a bit of heat for you out west. So with our forecast staying nice and dry over the next few days, we have this lovely clear sky to enjoy with a little bit of a southwesterly wind taking over coming in as we head into tomorrow. And then by Thursday night, that's our next round of rain. It's in the head of another cold front, which will provide the storms that could give us some more heavy rain. But that's later on at night. Shouldn't be too severe heading in through early Friday morning. And then Friday, you see the chances of rain are considerably higher going into the end of the day. Should clear out nicely by Saturday, though, to lead to a nice dry start to the weekend. So a little bit of that wet weather as we head going into the next few days, especially down to the southeast, where your weather also looks nice and quiet. So the last few minutes here, you see the last few hours showing those clear skies taking over. And with that, we stay nice and dry today with the lower level of humidity. The pollen that we've been seeing a little bit higher is now much lower. We've had so much rain over the last few days. You probably won't even notice too much of the trees, the weeds, the grasses, those allergens. Not going to be too much of a concern heading into the next few days, especially as we keep it nice and dry around here. So we look at the longer range futurecast. You notice that rain comes in for Thursday, likely clears out by Friday late at night. So I think Friday's our next wet day, and the weekend looks a bit unsettled, but I still think we have time to work on that part of the forecast. We'll take another check of your details coming up, Ken, with another look of your weather in just a few minutes.
You know, when you have two babies like under 16 or 17 months and you say a
Mm-hmm.
wet day, it has a whole different connotation.
It
I'm just saying.
does. Uh-huh.
So,
It does. Coming at you
and you
from all angles.
Yes, indeed. All right. All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. In terms of traffic, well, first of all, we should say it's 58 degrees right now. Northern New Jersey, Trenton 61. Los Angeles now at 63 degrees, 63 also San Diego. Now, we have a crash investigation, Route 42 northbound, and that is oh gosh, it just disappeared. It took it off. So that just got cleared. Go to 1 and 9. We have a disabled vehicle southbound at Wood Avenue, Linden. One left lane of 3 lanes closed. Approaches to the Hudson River right now. The Lincoln and Holland are both reported about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. So that's not good. Look at the jam traffic already there. That's quite a lot for this early hour. GWB approach 8095 is also on the heavy side, but it is moving. It's about 35 minutes in, but this is your 8095 approach. You can see the upper level on the right side of your screen, lower on the left. I got that backwards, actually. This is the back shot. Upper is on your left this time, lower is on your right. And you could see that the upper level is maybe a hair faster than the lower, but either way, it's about 35 minutes. Over to the West Coast, we have a traffic collision now reported in Baldwin Park on Pritchard Street. Traffic collision, no injuries reported in Santa Fe Springs on Greencastle Avenue. And there's a hit and run, no injuries in Newhall, and that's on Hasley Canyon Road. Also, a collision reported. Wow, a lot of collisions in LA for this hour. We got to ask Mike about the weather there. What's going on? We got a list of collisions. Um, we'll check with Mike. There's a collision also located in West LA, and this is at Via Marina and Washington Boulevard. We'll check with Mike to see if there is an incident in terms of weather, in terms of the weather in LA. Usually when you get a little bit of rain in LA, that's when you get a lot of traffic accidents. 5 minutes passed, and it looks like New Jersey Governor Sherrill and the heads of New Jersey's Senate and Assembly have confirmed that there is an agreement in place to adopt the state's $60.7 billion 2027 spending plan. The current budget ends at the end of the month, so the behind the scenes wrangling was getting down to the wire. Word is the actual verbiage of the bill remains unwritten, so there's that. In other words, it's just a concept of a plan, like, all right, you do this, and we'll write it out. Then it has to be voted on and passed by the Assembly and the Senate committees, and then it must still pass in a full vote in each chamber before heading to the governor's desk for signing. That all has to be done in 5 business days, or else they're in violation of the state constitution. So, considering the state statute says that you must wait a full day between the committee and the full body votes on the bill, that means they better get in early, not debate, just pass what they have, listen to the leaders of those bodies. Somebody objects, who has authority? It would have to be a Democrat, because Republicans don't have enough power to do this. Remember, this is entirely controlled by the Dems in New Jersey, and they're fighting among themselves on this. Bottom line, the Democrats have controlled every facet of government in New Jersey. They've now doubled the state budget in just 8 years. Think about that. Doubled. So to double the budget means to double your taxes, because the money doesn't come from heaven. By comparison, this New Jersey budget is 33% larger per capita than the state budget in the state of Florida right now. And Florida has consistently produced a balanced budget on time, with brand new infrastructure statewide, some of the best schools in the nation. The difference? Crickets. The difference: Florida is not a sanctuary state. It is not run by Democrats. It is run by Republicans, top to bottom. I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just making the obvious point. It is not a sanctuary state. Right now, New Jersey has 900,000 to 1 million illegal migrants. Money has to come from somewhere to pay for the kids to go to school, to pay for things like food stamps. It has to come from somewhere. Where do you think it comes from? Your pocket, because they are not paying, they're not legally allowed to have a job and pay taxes on the books. So it can't come from an illegal migrant. It's got to come from you. So when you have a $61 billion state budget, it's that high because there's a lot of extra spending. Oh, but Ken, most of that money goes to schools and to Medicaid. Right. And who are you sending extra people to school for? Illegal migrants. And who's getting the extra Medicaid? Can't let them be sick. Illegal migrants. You do the math. You eliminate 1 million illegal migrants from the state, budget goes down $15 to $20 billion guaranteed. Anybody who's honest would admit that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Sorry, it's just what it is. 8 minutes past, it was a sweep for the radical left-wing Democratic Socialists in New York, who'll be replacing 3 incumbent Democrats in the November general election. So I'm not talking about Democrats now. I'm not besmirching Democrats. I'm talking about the Democratic Socialists have just won every seat basically that they ran for in New York. Everyone. Daria Lisa Chevalier, and she does pronounce it Chevalier, not Chevalier, because she is, I believe, Dominican. She's the far left activist backed by New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani. She was declared the winner of the Democratic Party primary in New York's 13th congressional district. She is a Democratic Socialist. Her win over liberal incumbent Adriana Espaillat, think about that. The liberal was not liberal enough, so they voted in a socialist. That's where New York is. This is what happens when you have migration out of control. What do I mean by that? Everyone's welcome in this country. But when you have people who come from other countries with other political systems, and they don't understand the way the American system works, and they think Democrat is good for poor people, which is what they've been convinced, then they go as far left as they can, because they think goodies, better life, Democrat. Conservatives, evil. So this is where when you have a massive amount of incumbents, of migrants, this is the way they're going to vote. I'm not talking about illegal. I'm talking about legal migrants. This is what happens. Okay. The Democratic Socialists win over liberal incumbent Adriano Espaillat capped a stunning night for Mamdani and his far left Democratic Socialists of America. Now, Congressman Dan Goldman, 2-term incumbent, powerful, huge anti-Trumper, he got his ass whooped by Mamdani-backed former city comptroller Brad Lander, who until 6 months ago was just a run-of-the-road Democrat, until he said, if I want to win, I better call myself a socialist. And he did. And guess what? He won. I've interviewed Brad Lander. He ain't no liberal socialist, but he aligned himself with them Now he won. So this is the way it works now in New York. You have to, the farther to the left or further to the left you go, the more of a socialist you declare yourself, the better your shot. Another Mamdani ally, Democratic Socialist State Assembly member Claire Valdez, defeated the handpicked successor of retiring Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez. So this is what you have. The Democratic Socialists won everything, even assembly seats. New York, flee New York. You're done. New York's done. That's it. Governor Hochul, who is the only adult in the room now, as a Democrat, Governor Hochul doesn't have a shot. She's got to kiss their butts now because that's where it's headed. The U.S. and Iran continue negotiations. President Trump said that Iran agreed to extensive nuclear site inspections. Iranian officials publicly denied such plans, but appear to be doing so to save face. So they're publicly in Iran saying that none of this is happening. The U.S. is full of baloney. Then behind the scenes are saying, yes, whatever you need, because they know that as the leaders of Iran, if they publicly support the deal with the U.S., they will have their heads cut off. The Strait of Hormuz remains open under the current agreement, even though they said it was closed. Well, how could it be closed? And 20 million barrels of oil got through yesterday. So it's not closed, and it got through safely. Shipping traffic through the strategic waterway has increased significantly. President Trump reiterated if Iran wavers on any part of the agreement, the U.S. will immediately attack. Investigators believe authentic ransom notes from Nancy Guthrie's abductors. The first note demanded millions of dollars of Bitcoin. A second note claimed that Guthrie has died. Authorities believe both messages originated from the same source. The notes contain detailed information about Guthrie's home, and the feds continue searching for Guthrie and those responsible. A massive warehouse fire in LA now burning for an eighth day. The blaze began in Boyle Heights last Wednesday, June 17th. How do you not put out a freaking warehouse fire, LA, in a week? There's something about LA and firefighters that they just aren't allowed to do their jobs right. We don't have this in New York. It's a warehouse fire. Put it out. Come on. What is going on? LA is inept. This is the definition of inept, yet people keep voting for the same people. This is inept. I don't even want to say another word. You people in LA know. You keep voting for the same inept asses. And now you got a warehouse fire that's burning for 8 days. It's not a nuclear facility in an earthquake zone. What on earth is wrong with you? And President Trump said 6 people were arrested for damaging the reflecting pool when MS Now and CNN were mocking, saying, "Oh, nobody damaged it. He had a no bids award, and they didn't know what they were doing." No, there were people who've been caught now over and over again. All you have to do is dump a lot of phosphate into the water, and then you get an algae bloom. I used to have a pool, so I know that's what'll happen. If you have high phosphate, you get an algae bloom. And they apparently also put acids in there, which cause the rubberized base to peel up. So, and they got caught. They're on video. So all the asses who were saying for a week that this is all the administration's fault. Think again. We have videotape now showing these people. There are now 6 arrests and more coming, and they're going to get 10 years because that's damaging federal property. A Tesla crash in Texas killed a 76-year-old woman inside a home. The driver said an automated driving assistance system was active. So apparently the car went right into the home. Federal safety regulators have opened an investigation. The crash raises new questions about driver assistance technology safety. Right now, New Jersey is in the middle of saying that they do not want driverless vehicles in the state. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes as well. And a liberal activist federal judge has decided that people receiving SNAP benefits paid for with your tax dollars may continue using the money to buy garbage like soda and candy. Federal Judge Amy Berman Jackson, who was appointed by Barack Obama, blocked SNAP restrictions in 5 participating states. Those states weren't cutting back on people's benefits. All they were saying is you can't use them to buy garbage. You can't use it to buy sugar. You have to buy healthy foods. And this judge says, that's not fair. You can't do that. So they want your tax dollars to go to, in many cases, illegal aliens so that they could buy candy and soda and garbage with your tax dollars when you can't even afford to pay your income taxes and stuff. Think about that. Think about that. That's what happened as there was a transfer of administrations. And you heard the likes of Chuck Schumer saying, don't worry, we stacked the courts with far left judges who won't let anything go through. That's what he was talking about. Think about that. And so all of you in New York who keep voting for Chucky Schumer, That's what you got. So if you don't mind spending double your taxes every year for no reason, hard-earned tax money in order to let people who don't live here, who came here illegally, they're welcome. They come here legally, but they come here illegally, and then they take your tax dollars and call you a sucker and go and buy sugar. They're not helping their kids. They're not buying their kids salads and protein. They're buying sugar for themselves. Okay, fine. Millions of honeybees escaped after a truck overturned in Texas. The trailer was carrying 400 beehives at the time. Residents were told to stay indoors during recovery efforts. In other words, don't get stung. Local beekeepers helped salvage damaged hives. It is 16 past, and Yankees Hope Week took the team to Leonia, where they traded their bats for lawn mowers. On New Jersey's Emily Griffith brings us the story behind the nonprofit making it happen.
As part of the Yankees Hope Week, the team joined I Want to Mow Your Lawn founder Brian Schwartz to help with one of his lawn cleanups. Players, coaches, and even the Yankees groundskeepers came in together for the cause. Brian's idea for his nonprofit began during COVID when he was laid off and his father was diagnosed with brain cancer. He loaded his lawnmower into his car and began cutting grass for elderly residents in his neighborhood. Throughout the years, I Want to Mow Your Lawn has grown to have more than 1,800 volunteers and logged more than 3,000 service visits across all 50 states. Following an afternoon of mowing the lawn, cutting down branches, and planting a garden, the team surprised Brian with a $20,000 donation and headed off to their next game with greener thumbs. For On New Jersey, I'm Emily Griffith.
Nice job, Emily. Thank you very much. It is 17 minutes past, and when we return, there's a Sussex County distillery that is celebrating a major milestone. We'll explain. We're back in 2. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, live in New Jersey and New York. We now welcome our good folks in Los Angeles and in Florida. 19 minutes past the hour. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you. And Mike, that means I'm 4 minutes overly verbose.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, it's been a year, Ken, since we launched the LA channel on LACA. Launched 1 year ago today. I know.
Good Lord.
Yep. So happy anniversary to the West Coast channel. And with that, you said, a little bit
I'm sorry, I got to cut you off. I think we need to do a road trip.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I think mornings from Santa Monica. How do you like that name? Mornings, welcome to
lovely.
Mornings from Santa Monica. I work on it. You know people, I know people.
Watch
Little
the
qual. Anyway, I
sunset over
boundary
there.
ship.
We could do a whole little thing. Well, that would be nice. We've got some a little bit of cloudy skies out on the West Coast. So you mentioned a lot of accidents in the LA area. Could be from that morning mist and marine layer that's around. No real precipitation falling on the weather stations, but regardless, there's still a bit of that early morning haze and fog. Here on the East Coast, however, we are enjoying a lovely round of sunshine and clear sky to take over. Forecast points to dry weather today, a little bit warmer tomorrow with the continued comfortable levels of humidity. And then as we head into later Thursday night, that's when the next round of storms comes in, sets up for a pretty wet Friday. So I think Friday is looking rather on the wetter side, but it should clear out by Saturday into Sunday, salvaging another pretty weekend here. So it'll look nice and dry all throughout the Northeast today, not just in New Jersey. I mean, it's looking gorgeous into this afternoon. Even the future cast showing with that high pressure sliding by to our south. The warm front that comes in tomorrow afternoon may give us some extra clouds and a few sprinkles, but the real storm activity doesn't begin until late tomorrow night, lasting through Friday, and even for Friday night, I think could see some extra clouds, but Saturday clears out, and then Sunday will be nice and dry, heading into a beautiful weekend. We'll tell you more about it coming up with another check of your forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. It is 21 minutes past the hour, 61 degrees northern New Jersey, 63 degrees in Trenton. On the West Coast, 63 also Los Angeles, 62 in San Diego. There is a Sussex County distillery that's celebrating a major milestone. Claremont Distillery in Hamburg is marking 1 year at its destination location. So they started when we started our Los Angeles channel a year ago. And Hamburg, the distillery, Claremont Distillery, is offering everything from award-winning spirits and tasting rooms to hands-on experiences for visitors. Founder and head distiller Tim Kother is here with more. Good morning to you, Tim.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, I was shocked. It was like I guess 10 years ago when I had a bachelor party, and we had it at a distillery in another part of New Jersey near where I lived. You probably know because there's only a handful in the entire state. A lot of
I'm sure
people
I
think,
do.
oh, there must be, right, it's in the Fairfield area. So a lot of people think that distilleries are like breweries, and they're not. Distilleries are federally controlled and very few, correct?
Yes, we are. We're both federally and state controlled, and there are probably 5% distilleries compared to breweries in this country.
That's amazing. So you guys have, I mean, it is a serious game. And this is not to besmirch brewers. God bless them. They're into their little different grains and whatnot. But a distiller, you're a scientist, you're a chemist for real. I mean, there's a massive amount of chemistry in what you do, correct?
There's a lot of science going on. There's a lot of chemistry, a lot of biology. There's thermodynamics. It's a giant science class. It really is.
Yeah, because for people who may not realize, I mean, you basically with a still, you could make fuel. I mean, that's right. You could, what you're creating, the alcohol you're creating could be basically fuel. So that's why there's so much federal regulation. But the magic is you could create things like vodkas and scotches and all those little nuanced whiskeys in between. Which types of whiskeys do you do at Claremont?
We make a number of different whiskeys. We make 4 different bourbon whiskeys. We actually make an Irish style whiskey. We make an American single malt whiskey. Whiskey is really kind of the fun place to be because there's so many different flavor profiles that you can develop just by changing your mash bills, changing your yeast. So it's a very creative kind of part of the industry.
Right. To say we make vodka, that's like saying, well, we could boil distilled alcohol. Okay. Well, all right. That's great. Willie for you, right? It's what you can do after that. And you use to make bourbon, you have to age it in barrels, smoked barrels and whatnot, right?
That is correct. Basically, legally, you need to age bourbon in brand new charred oak barrels. And, depending on who you ask, really anywhere from 60 to 70% of your overall flavor profile actually comes from the barrel. And the reason that white oak is used is because it has a lot of natural sugars. And those flavors, once the barrel's charred, they become caramelized. and they end up in your flavor profile of your distillate.
And can you only use those barrels a finite amount of times before you have to get rid of them?
Yes, and like I had said, legally you can only make bourbon in a brand new charred oak barrel. If we were to do the exact same thing and put the distillate into a once used barrel, it's an American whiskey. Uh, it's kind of funny because actually barrels, there's a huge secondary market for it, and believe it or not, all of the great scotches in the world are basically aged in once used bourbon barrels. But there is a finite lifetime to them. After the
My mouth
second
is
use,
agape. I'm
after the
sorry, my
second
mouth is
use,
agape.
but after the second use, you basically need to refurbish them, rechar them. So there is a finite life because you're trying to
So
extract.
the people who make scotch, they get the hand-me-downs from the great bourbon makers. So and I laugh because I know so many people who snobbishly talk about their fine scotches and their single malts and whatnot. Meanwhile, American bourbon is a great product. This is probably one of the and I don't, by the way, for the record, I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol at all of any kind, but I used to. 15 years ago, I used to before I developed a heart issue. And I was into this, as you could tell, very much. And there is very little that could beat a great American bourbon. A bourbon is fantastic.
Agreed. Totally agree. And, it really comes down to, again, like I say, uh, just the mash bills. I mean, you're really kind of limited in making scotches with the type of mash bill that you can use. Whereas bourbon, you can use everything from heirloom grains to all kinds of creative, different grains to get various flavor profiles.
I love it. So you guys at Claremont, do you have tours? Do you have do you do bachelor parties and things like that for people to come through and test? And by the way, when I say bachelor party, it was nothing rowdy. I mean, these were all very serious when I went. For real, these were very serious kind of connoisseurs. They were Scotch and bourbon connoisseurs, and they had a ball. It was great. And we had a bus take us to and from, for the record. This way we could enjoy and do our samples, and it was wonderful. Do you guys do that?
We do pretty much everything. We do bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, birthday parties. This weekend, we're actually having a wedding. We have a very large facility. And part of the reason that we moved to Sussex County was we really wanted something that was a destination where people could come and enjoy the scenic beauty. We have a 12,000 square foot facility with two large tasting rooms, one of which is an event venue. We have a very large outdoor space with a large patio. So it's really a place where you can come and, spend more than just a few minutes. And that's really what we wanted.
Right. And right, just plan a day. I know are you open weekends, by the way?
Weekends are definitely our busiest time. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, we did ours on a Sunday, and I remember for us, we did about 5 hours, I guess it was about 5 hours. And it was just a wonderful time to sip, chat, and get instruction. Our distiller gave us the most magnificent instruction. And so I'm sure you guys do that too, because I know you're proud of what you've built. That's an institution that you've built.
We are, and I will tell you, I really like the educational aspect of the business because people really don't know what goes into it. So we do very extensive tours. I personally do them myself because I enjoy doing them. And it's just there's so much going on, and it's really funny just to see people's reaction because they don't recognize just what all is involved. And it really is kind of a science class. So we do lots of tours. We do a lot of special events. You can come and blend your own bourbon. We do a lot of barrel emptyings where you can fill your own bottles, things of that nature. And, we want it to be a hands-on, educational kind of fun experience. That's really what we're going for.
And before I let you go, you have a July 11th content creator and small business summer social. Talk about that.
That's correct. On the 11th, we are doing a collaboration with the New Jersey Content Creator Association. And it's really to showcase New Jersey small businesses. At this point in time, We have over 115 vendors, content creators signed up, and we'll have live music, entertainment, and all different types of small businesses. Actually, the McLaren Car Club of New Jersey is going to be there doing a car show, and we fully expect this to get over a couple of hundred people. And it's really just to show
Wow.
and promote small business.
Well, I know your distiller, your distillery rather, has won a number of prestigious awards. Tell everybody a website so they can get more information and make reservations and come down and check you guys out.
Our website is www.claremontdistillery.com. And, we have website, Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias. So we're certainly findable.
And it's Claremont, Claremont, ClaremontDistillery.com. It's in Hamburg, New Jersey, Sussex County, which is just gorgeous, especially in the summer. What a beautiful place. Founder and head distiller, man after my own heart. Please come back again. Tim Cother, Claremont Distillery, the chief distiller. That means you're also the chief bottle washer, but proud to be, I bet. You've done a good
That
thing
is
there, my
correct.
friend.
You're absolutely
Amen.
correct. And thank you for having
But
me.
I could tell your heart and soul's in it, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And very proud that you are a fellow New Jersey man. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. It is just check it out. It's even, I mean, you think this is nothing for the kids. I know you can't really have, they can't sample, but when they are of age, take them and let them. It is a science project, and it's very, very cool. All right, it's 31 minutes past the hour. We got our friend from binge.com, Tom Bergeron. He's coming up next on Call. A very good morning. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West Coast. 1 year anniversary, we are told, of our friends at On LACA, meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast near you, including, let's see, do I see the Santa Monica Pier out there, Mike? I think I do.
I think you do. Yeah,
Just
a
watch
little
the
bit
guy
of
who's peeing underneath.
into the fog, into the morning mist and marine layer. That's right now across the Pacific coast. We have a clear sky as compared to out west. This morning in New Jersey, lots of sunshine after those late day clouds cleared out last evening, made for a very pretty sunset. And that clear sky extends all the way down the East Coast, bringing back lovely weather for today and even into tomorrow. It'll be nice and dry all through this afternoon. A couple of severe storms in the Midwest. You can see those bubble up, and then down toward the Southwest, where there's quite a bit of that morning fog and marine layer with the mist right down through the California coast. Into this afternoon, though, it starts to dry out and stays dry into tomorrow. So by Friday, again, a little bit of a morning mist, and then we're back to some sunshine by the afternoon. It's a rinse and repeat every day through the weekend, staying dry, especially into Sunday. So the end of the weekend looking nice and clear. There are some of those showers heading up into the hills, but beyond that, we looking to stay dry even out east, where our weather stays quite pleasant over the next several days and looks to be quite nice even in through tomorrow. It's tomorrow night. That's when our next front passes through and gives us our rain. You can see where it's coming from. All that energy in the Midwest moving across New Jersey, giving us our threat of severe weather into tomorrow night. And then we dry out beautifully for the weekend, remain clear into next week, and it stays nice and comfortable around here, even for the next few days, starting off our future cast with today into tomorrow. You see that high pressure slide by, giving us loads of sunshine throughout the end of the day before some rain comes in tomorrow night. We'll tell you more about that with another check of your forecast, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you so much, sir. 59 degrees northern New Jersey now, 63 in Trenton, in Los Angeles, 63 and 64 in San Diego. And we want to talk about quickly we're going to talk about this with our friend, the New Jersey budget. It looks like they have a framework in place, and we're going to talk about that. And today, though, we're also looking at the workforce development that is occurring in New Jersey from two very different but connected angles. On one end, we're seeing major investment in skilled trades and apprenticeships. There's union training programs helping build the next generation of workers. Then on the other end, you got organizations that are rethinking what it means to build an age-friendly workforce and keep experienced workers engaged and valued. So it's a generational thing, et cetera. There's a lot going on. And our friend Tom Bergeron is the founder, owner, and editor-in-chief of binge.com. That's B-I-N-J-E, business in New Jersey every day, to break down what he's been seeing across New Jersey's workforce landscape. First off, good morning, Tom. Nice to have you on, my friend.
Always good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Likewise, good to have you on. And before we get into the workforce, and I know there are no details yet because this was just announced late yesterday, that New Jersey, it looks like they have the framework for a budget. None of the details, none of it is written. So not even the governor knows the details yet. But it looks like there's a framework. And why this is significant is under the statutes, they only have until the 30th before the old budget ends. And then we'd have no budget on July 1st. So they had to have something. But now, isn't it true that they have to have a day's separation when something leaves committee and then goes to the General Assembly and Senate for a vote? So this is really down to the second we're talking about.
Well, look, sometimes a day becomes a minute. And in reality, from budgets past, it's not unusual to go to June 29th at 11 o'clock before we're done. So the fact that this was done so early, or the announcement, says a couple of things. One, they wanted to get the budget done. They didn't want that to interrupt anything to do with the World Cup when New Jersey's on the global scene. The other aspect is it shows that this is the first year for the governor. There's been some tension with the legislature, as there is with every first year for the governor. It shows that they've reached an agreement. Now, who won, who lost, how they came to the middle, we'll have to see on the details. But the state New Jersey program was supposedly up for grabs, and that was something the speaker loved. So that apparently is staying some way. How the revenue raisers, which is a nice way to describe new taxes on businesses, are, we still don't know about. But the fact that here we are a week ahead of time making this announcement shows that they've done a little kumbaya.
Yeah, they kind of had to. It's look, good for Governor Sherrill for getting that done. And you're right, New Jersey is on the world stage right now. No matter what, we need to show a unified front. And so far, so good. It's looking pretty good for us. In terms of what stood out with the U.S. Labor Secretary's visit to the IUOE Local 825 Training Center, what was that like?
So look, I think what it sums up is, one, New Jersey is a training apprenticeship state. If anyone has driven on the turnpike, you go by about 8A and you see this incredible 825 training facility there. It's 61 acres. It's been there for generations, but what they point out is, look, it's modernized. The acting labor commissioner, Sutherland, comes out and they immediately throw on a virtual reality headshot to show him welding, to show him crane operation. Greg Lalevee, the head of 825, points out, look, you got to be trained properly, because if you mess up on an operating engineer, you make the 6 o'clock news. So it's really an incredible program. The federal government has said they want to do a 1 million apprentices by the next 5 years. Where else to go but New Jersey? So they fly up there. Greg was happy to show them around. He showed some of the partners he has there with Dave Reibel and Jack Costas from some other contractor and labor unions. So it's great to bring all those people together, because the one thing New Jersey does really well is train the next generation of skilled laborers and apprentices.
So where does that put the workforce nationwide? Where is it headed nationally? I mean, it looks like, America is back to some real labor, whereas for decades, or at least a couple of decades, it was kind of farmed out to countries around the world.
Look, if you want to talk about getting a job and getting a good middle class job, people are slowly, not fast enough, but slowly turning back to some of the skilled trades. I mean, you see that not just with what 825 is doing. There was another announcement that Bloomberg was putting $90 million nationwide, and their goal was to get high school kids to come in, right? And some of that will be done through the carpenters in New Jersey, right? And then you see other issues where, I love this story, Francis Walsh, the CEO of NRS, which is an unbelievable logistics giant up in Lyndhurst. He's going to get an honorary degree from Kane. And usually when that happens, Ken, you know the deal. You show up, you put the robe on, they give you a degree, you smile. And he said, wait a minute, we can work together. So he's going to create internships with this program through Kane. And now they're talking about starting an undergraduate course or a master's course in logistics, because we are a logistics state. So it's a real good example of people in New Jersey saying, we have opportunities for workforce. We need to train them. Let's step up and let's do it. And I know you're going to get to the 55 redefined, because that was one of the funnest stories we've had in some time.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's nice to see that in New Jersey, you have things like in Newark, you have the high school for, what is it? The NSED high school, the architecture and interior design. You got kids being trained at 15 and 16, building houses inside the high school, because it's huge. It's like 3 stories high. So they're building actual houses. I mean, we never heard, or we didn't hear about this in decades. And it's great that it's now happening again, that there's an actual art and science behind this construction that is now being taught again, so that kids aren't maybe wasting $200,000 going to a college and then coming out not knowing what they want to do. They're coming out with no debt and going right into a $120,000 a year or more job right out the bat. I mean, it's an amazing thing.
Anytime the private sector can work with the unions, can work with not just higher education, as you point out, this is K through 12 education. Then there's the trade schools, and there's the community colleges. Anytime those organizations can come together and work, we're creating the next generation of workforce, which is great. Which goes to our 55 redefined story. And I love this story. When I found out about it, it was Parker Health, and they generally care for seniors. And they do it with a workforce that's over 55. And you say, okay, yeah, that's funny. You have old people taking care of old people. But it's more than that. What the benefit, what the belief of 55 redefined is look, when people, quite frankly, get to our age, Ken, maybe we don't want to climb the corporate ladder. Maybe we don't want to be the CEO. Maybe we don't want to work 80 hours a week. But there still is valuable contributions that they can add. So you're seeing that more and more. And 55 redefined is highlighting companies that are saying, hey, there's a way to use these type of workers. Again, it's all workforce development. You see some of the groups finding, hey, these are stay-at-home moms who maybe have 20 hours a week to offer and not 40 hours a week. Let's use all aspects of our population into the workforce, and we'll all be better off.
Tom, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 29 years old. By the way, across these stories,
you and me both.
Why are you laughing? Yeah, exactly. 29 plus 30. Across these, for me, what trends are emerging about how New Jersey defines the development of a workforce today? Is it that it's all ages and it's not strictly college? I mean, are we just broadening the horizons, if you will?
I think what you said before, we're opening up our eyes to other possibilities, and you're seeing the private sector and the union saying, hey, we're not getting the workers we need. We need to step in and help develop them, right? You'll have an accounting firm that'll go to a university and say, how can we do this better? Rowan University does a fabulous job, not just with the unions, but also with professional services, where Ali Hushman will say, hey, come to my campus, tell me what you need, help me write the curriculum. Let's do this together. So when my kids do come out, whether they have a debt or not is another debate, but they'll be ready for the workforce, because too often we have kids who are coming out of college who aren't ready for the workforce. And we have kids who aren't necessarily college ready, or college isn't right for them, and we don't have a clear path for them. So we're seeing more and more that, again, it's the unions, it's the state, it's education coming together and saying, let's fix this, instead of just leaving everybody on their own to try to solve the problem, because it wasn't being solved.
It sounds cliche, but a partnership, you know, little conversation goes a long, long way. Business in New Jersey every day. Binge.com, BINJE.com. Founder, owner, editor in chief, Tom Bergeron, our dear friend. Always good to have you on. Thanks for coming on today.
My pleasure.
You bet. All right, 45 minutes past the hour. When we come back on New Jersey's Fashionista, our expert Dawn Del Russo of LiveTheGlamour.com. She's going to join us with fabrics you may have never thought of. Think mushroom leather. If you're hungry, you can eat your purse. We're coming back in 2. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 48 minutes past the hour. Calls coming in at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast in your city, and it's looking beautiful for the Northeast.
It is really pretty weather. The low humidity, the sunshine is back, Ken, for today and most of tomorrow morning. I think later tomorrow afternoon is when some clouds return. Maybe we get a few showers, but some late night storms into Friday give us a pretty wet finish to the week on Friday. However, Saturday clears out beautifully. Sunday is even drier, and we stay nice and dry even for the next few days beyond that. Even for the first few days of July, looking ahead about 2 weeks, this warm weather takes over, and we'll experience some pretty warm conditions across most of the East Coast, with equal chances of dry weather, giving us probably an extension to that drought. We'll zoom in on the drought situation here across New Jersey coming up in a few minutes to kind of get you ahead of what looks to be a pretty dry start to the summer season. So we started summer back on Sunday, and feeling warm over the next few days. Can feeling like summer too.
Let me go back in time a little bit. Did you have a nice Father's Day?
Oh, it was lovely. You kidding me? With the beautiful weather, I got the uni out, made about a dozen pies, so it was a perfect day.
I mean, we had a beautiful Mother's Day and a beautiful Father's Day this
We
year. And
did.
so moms and
Hmm.
dads all had great days and well deserved. Yeah, same here. I did the cooking, and yes, I made pizza. We didn't have an uni, but I have an indoor kind of a hack that I do indoors using a pizza steel. You get that sucker up to 500 degrees
Oh,
for
cool.
like it. And Pam is saying, what's an uni? Uni is a very custom, privately owned pizza oven that you could put outside, but it gets to 900 degrees. And the trick to real Neapolitan pizza, Pam, is to cook it fast, because if you cook it slow, the crust gets hard and dry and it doesn't come
Yeah,
out like a pizzeria. Do I have that right, Mike?
you do. Pizza in 30 seconds
There we
flat.
go.
It's great.
Isn't that crazy? So you can make like 10 pies as long as you got
Uh-huh.
your doughs ready to go. So very, very cool. Well, a belated happy Father's Day, sir. Well
Thank
deserved,
you.
especially this year with two.
Hmm.
God bless. Here, there we go. All right. We'll check back, Mike. Thank you so much, sir. It is 64 degrees in northern New Jersey, 63 in Trenton. It is 60 degrees in Cape May and 62 degrees now in Vineland. And last week, you may recall, we talked about the new viral T-Rex handbag, that it's actually made from collagen from DNA that they found in T-Rex bone, and they grew it in the lab. And it proves that fashion and innovation and style all can come together. Well, now, from fabrics made of mushrooms and algae to clothing that reacts to movement and luxury items with built-in digital IDs, the future of fashion is arriving faster than ever. Joining us this morning to break it all down, all the latest trends, our fashion expert, Don Del Russo of livetheglamour.com. That's Live the Glamour, GLAMOUR, BritishStyle.com. Good morning, Don. Do we not have Don's audio? Hang on. Check the mic. Check. Look here. I'll give Don an on. This is what happens to me, Don. If you look at the lower right of your screen, you see the little speaker. Sometimes there's an X and you got to click on that. That happens to me at least once a week. Oh, no. Otherwise, all right, here's what we're going to do. Come back to me. You work with Dawn. I will tap dance. Let me do this.
Did I get
Oh,
it?
we got her? No. All right. So let's work on Dawn. Dawn, you may have to just dial in on your phone. You may have to do it
Wait.
that way, and that'll work. All right. Just
Okay.
give it a sec. We'll come back. I'll tap dance. So what
Am
we
I
had,
okay?
again, we have different types of fashion that Dawn is talking about. Last week we talked again. This was a T-Rex handbag that was going to be auctioned off for $500,000. That's what they believed it was going to fetch. And we say to you, let's see, one more time.
There we go.
No,
Am I good? Can you
no,
hear me?
not hearing it, Don. Not hearing it. All right, we got to do a dial-in. Try the phone. Give
Oh,
us a
no.
dial-in on the phone, Don. We'll do it that way because we got to have you on. Even if you just dial up audio, we'll do it that way. We'll figure
Let's
it
see.
out.
Let me try to go off and then.
Go ahead, Pam. Let's get her to just dial in. Just a regular phone call. We'll take it in that way. I'll take it in over here. Sorry, folks. Live TV. That's what happens. And we got to have Dawn talk about it, about all this stuff. So there's also algae that we are making algae fabrics. Imagine. So algae is everywhere on the planet. And whoops, which are we getting? No, we can't do that. Can't do that. Izzy, our producer, is calling me on my cell phone. That's not going to happen, Izzy. I can't pick up while I'm on. Let's see if we can go back. Yes, no. Are you not hearing me? Now maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not hearing anything right now. Is that what Izzy's trying to tell me? Let me look at my stuff. No, it's working on this end. Talk to me, Pam. All right. You know what? Now we're having trouble. Pam, let's go to break. If you could hear me, let's go to break and we'll figure out what's going on all in all. And we'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, so welcome back. So all the technical stuff that we have going on, we have computers everywhere, we have all this stuff going on, and it was the plug to my earpiece unplugged. It's as simple as that. So let's go to our Don Del Russo, our fashion expert. Don, I apologize for putting you through panic attack mode when it was your dear friend Ken here, who, if you could see the electronics I have around me, you'd pass out. But all it was that the plug unplugged, and that's what controls my earpiece. So let's get right
It's
to
all,
you. So talk about these
yeah,
wonderful fabrics that we have made from algae and leather from dinosaurs. Fascinating
yeah.
stuff.
It is. You inspired me so much last week. I did like this huge deep dive because I was like, this T-Rex bag is wild. And, just I found it so interesting that as I was going and looking into this bag, I found so much more about this next generation in fabrics. And it's all about like sustainability, innovation, of course, and that journey that we're taking to kind of find new products that we can use. Like you mentioned, the mushroom leather, which they're now doing in sneakers, and they're saying it's actually a little bit better quality. It has more of a natural feel to it, of course, because it's from a mushroom. We're not using animals, so it's taking away from using like the skins and things like that, which also means less resources. So if you look at it from a sustainability side, it's really, really a great thing. And they're also doing it with silk. So spiders typically is where we get some silk from. And now they're innovative. They're recycling fabrics that they can turn into silk, like a very fine silk, and also low biodegradable dyes. So they're finding unique ways to dye these fabrics as well, like the T-Rex bag. So it's pretty interesting once you really look into it, how they're creating these very new products from materials that we already have in nature and making things that we're able to use daily.
But you know what's funny? That's how they made silk 1,000 years ago, the Silk Road. They actually got it from spiders. They actually use things like beet dye today. So we literally are going back in time and making it sound like it's a whole new thing because we were using all these nasty chemicals to try to make it faster and cheaper, and it wasn't as good, was it?
I know. And that's what's so ironic. I think everything does that, comes full circle. But as I was doing this, that's what I was saying to myself. I'm like, wait a minute, we're just this existed. This always existed, and we're acting like it's suddenly something new or creative, but really it was being done very, very long time ago. And then we brought in plastics and things that weren't biodegradable
Right.
and good for us. There's also these new DNA tracking techniques that they're incorporating into clothing, which will be able to, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but track us in ways, but also get to know ourselves a little bit better. So whether it's helping with our temperature, it kind of goes back to some of the stuff we talked about a few weeks with innovative products, but working with our bodies in ways that we can use these DNA traceabilities to actually help ourselves with what we're wearing. So I thought that was pretty interesting too. They also made a robotic dress that when you move, it blooms into a flower. So they're getting very creative with this stuff. I don't know if it's going to be something we ever wear or see in the streets, but it's interesting.
I think there would be nothing better than to have host Ken Rosato wearing a dress that blossoms into a flower. I mean, I would tune in for that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I love
But I
it.
actually want to go back to the mushroom leather thing. And it's so basic that you kick yourself
Yeah.
in the head and say, why did we never think of this? If you think about in the supermarket, when you buy freeze-dried mushroom, you see how hard and leathery it is. You try to tear that apart with your hands or your teeth when it's in that state. It's impossible. And those fibers are
No.
so tight. And so why not make clothing out of it? It's just so logical, right?
And the way we could produce them. I mean, they're so quick to be produced and they multiply. We can do it instantly. So why use these, very synthetic, bad for you fibers when you can produce these mushrooms and create a leather that's going to be maybe even better than what we're using from like the soles that we have, which I think would be a nice alternative. Algae, the same thing. It's like we're able to take that from the sea and create products like sneakers again, or wearable items from algae. So I've actually seen a dress made from it, and it was pretty interesting and durable, which I wasn't sure how it would be, but it was very durable. The dress looked really nice. Like the fabric itself, you wouldn't really know it was an algae or a mushroom. It looked like regular, real product, real leather. So I think over the
Algae.
next,
No, I'm sorry to step in. I was going to say algae is the most plentiful thing on the planet. Like we couldn't go through algae if we tried because it multiplies at a trillion a second, So it's
right,
like it's there everywhere because 70% of the earth is covered in oceans. The color blue in the oceans it comes from the algae. So it's everywhere. You could never run out.
right. I went to a conference. This was actually a few years ago that had this algae dress and a jacket and some tops. And I honestly did not even believe that's what it was made of because of how it felt. You would think it would, I don't know, have a kind of maybe slimy or weird feel to it, but it felt so nice and it felt wearable and something you would want to put on. The fact that you said it is something that produces so quickly, I mean, why not? Why not bring that in and try that instead of, trying to use synthetic fabrics?
Absolutely. Between this and last week, we had a woman on who has a company called Simply Fiber. I don't know if you saw the segment. And she takes basically the equivalent of a 3D printer and any kind of plant pulp, even throwaway paper that could be recycled, wood pulp from chips that you're going to get rid of, any of that, turns it instantly without having to first make a ream of fabric, turns it instantly into a piece of clothing. And it's washable, etc. And it doesn't use up, and you don't have to grow the plant or the tree and then cut it
Right.
down. You only need waste weed, and you whip that up, and you put it in the machine, and out comes a shirt. It's just unbelievable where fashion is headed.
It is. It really is. And I like seeing it. I like that people are coming with creative things to the table and they're not just like staying in our normal mindset, that we're moving forward and able to create these products that are made out of things we already have on this earth.
And look, I'm not Joe the environmentalist here. People know that, but at the same time, I don't go to the other extreme. Like I'm the first one to scream if I see somebody throw stuff on the ground. I hate that. So from an environmental perspective, in terms of what I see around me, don't throw cigarette butts, papers, garbage on the ground. I'm the one who actually goes out and picks it up myself. I don't care. I'll pick it up and throw it out. But if we could have something that is environmentally friendly without having to sacrifice to the point of not being able to live life, then you go for it. And this sounds like the perfect win-win for everybody involved. I love animals. I'm sure you do too. I don't want to kill an animal to create leather. I try
No.
not to think about it. But if we could have mushroom leather, until we have the
Right.
mushroom organization screaming at us, if we could have mushroom leather and it's just as good or better, then why ever hurt another animal again, right?
No,
Basically. So
I completely agree. And I like from like a very fashion standpoint that we're not creating these things and they don't look good. They actually look good. It's wearable. I mean, that T-Rex bag, if I didn't know it, I would take it off of a shelf and want to use it. Same with some of the sneakers that I've seen made out of the mushroom. I mean, they look good. It's not just a concept. They actually look good. It's something that you would want to wear when you see it out, which I think is important with fashion.
100%. Well, thank you for your patience. I'm sorry to cause panic attacks. There's your T-Rex bag. Just hope the T-Rex doesn't bite you on the backside when you put it over your shoulder. That's all. That's kind of fun. But always great talking to you, Dawn. You always have such great concepts you bring to us. Dawn Del Russo, livetheglamour.com, livetheglamour.com. Great website. Thank you for coming on this morning, Dawn.
Thanks, Ken, so much.
You bet. And for your patience. Oh, poor thing. I'm the one who screws up on this end and causing panic attacks. All right. Before we go to weather, I just want to say for those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching ONNJ on New Jersey, we are going to continue right now. We go right through with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. So it is now 8:05, very late because of a very mouthy Ken Rosato with his technical problems. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta on what looks to be a beautiful day, Mike.
It really will be sunny, fantastic, dry conditions. After a pretty gloomy pair of days yesterday and Monday, we're back to the sunshine. Beautiful weather like we enjoyed over the weekend. Cooled off a little bit from yesterday. Dew points are the temperature where the air is saturated. When they're in the 50s, that is comfortable. So we stay nice and dry through this afternoon. Loads of sunshine into the end of the day. Even the future casts feeling warm. Temperatures warming into the mid 80s. And once more tomorrow, I think we see a few extra clouds around tomorrow afternoon, but we should generally stay dry. It's the overnight, tomorrow night into Friday morning, that sees the storms come through. And then Friday is pretty much a wet day with a lot of those storms rolling in through the morning, but clearing by Saturday, leading to a drier finish to the weekend. The next few days featuring lovely weather again tomorrow, a little bit wetter for Friday, and then Saturday clears out with a high of 80. That'll feel lovely. Nice way to kick off the first full weekend in summer, Ken.
Take that any day of the week, sir. Thank you very much. It is now 62 degrees northern New Jersey, 67 degrees in Trenton. It's 61 in Cape May. Evermore Lifestyle Solutions was created to provide adults of all abilities with a place to build friendships and connect with their communities. But now the organization says New Jersey's Division of Developmental Disabilities could force it to change its entire model or risk losing a key funding source. With us are Evermore founder and executive director Jennifer Overfield and director of operations Jackie Mack. Good morning to the two of you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Nice to have you both on. Jen, let's start with you, Jennifer. What is Evermore? Why was it created and when? And give us kind of the history, the background.
Absolutely. So, Evermore was created a little bit over 2 years ago because I saw a significant gap in truly inclusive community spaces. As an autistic leader myself and someone who has personally and professionally navigated disability systems, I recognize that too many people, particularly adults with disabilities, were experiencing isolation and lacked meaningful opportunities for connection and community involvement. I wanted to create the kind of public community space that I wish I had when I was younger, and a place where people could come together not as patients or clients, but as individuals pursuing friendships, hobbies, fitness, education, and meaningful lives. While Evermore was founded with a strong commitment to inclusion for adults with disabilities, since I'm an autistic business owner, we proudly serve veterans, seniors, and members of the general public as well. Our vision has always been to create a truly inclusive space where people of all abilities, backgrounds, and ages can learn from one another, build relationships, and belong. At its core, Evermore is about choice, belonging, and ensuring that no one is excluded from community life.
Jennifer, I love the fact that you're putting a face to what it is to be a very successful autistic person. That you can be as or more successful than anybody else. And God bless you for coming on and talking about it. Talk about how Evermore is different from the traditional day habilitation programs that are out there.
So I definitely would say that
So
it's different. Sorry, go ahead, Jack. I'm gonna actually, I can't
Okay,
go off script. It's like part of, so I'm gonna have
okay,
Jackie speak on this. Yeah.
that's fine. Jack, you go ahead.
good morning. So when it comes to Evermore versus just traditional Medicaid providers, whether that be day habs, supportive employment, any of those type of programs, they're very different. So day programs, you have staff in there that are they're DSPs. They are trained to provide certain supports, whether that be hygiene care, administering medication, behavioral interventions, medical interventions, all different things like that. It is also directly billed to Medicaid from the provider themselves. Most of the time, most day programs require members to go 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, in order for them to be allowed to attend their day program. And it is also not open to the general public whatsoever. So you don't have the ability to say to a sibling or a parent, I want you to come with me today to program. You also don't have the ability to pick your own staffing, who's going to provide those supports should you be someone who actually needs, additional supports while you're there. When it comes to Evermore, we are just a standard business. So we are a business in the community that offers different studios that people can purchase a membership, and then they're able to pick and choose different things that they want to come to. So some of those things could be group sessions where it's group music sessions, or it could be things that are individualized where people are coming for life coaching offered by certified life coaches. They also get to bring their own staff. So if somebody is coming that happens to be in need of additional supports, whether it be somebody who has, disabilities, or just maybe it's a senior, who needs additional care while they're there, they bring their own people to support them while Evermore is providing them with the actual engagement, the enrichment, and helping them build community outside of what they would see just in those four walls of a day program or a group home, or only being with those who have classified disabilities.
So let me jump in, just because it's very important. We talk about the state and the funding too. The Division of Developmental Disabilities Goods and Services funding. How does that impact the program? And things may be changing, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
things are
so
changing.
Who would like to take
And
it? Either
actually,
one can take that.
I actually
Jennifer wants
would.
to. Go ahead.
So
Sure,
actually,
go
if
ahead,
we were
Jennifer.
to become a Medicaid provider, it actually would cost. We would make more money, and it would cost taxpayers $1.2 million. We did an analysis. It would cost taxpayers $1.2 million per year for 100 individuals more than if we were to stay our current. And for 5 years, it would be $6 million, and that is if we didn't grow at all.
That's
And I think
fascinating. So,
Jackie can give some details into other ways too as well.
right. So it just makes sense to stay. Like, why would you want to go over there and literally waste money and potentially risk losing funds in the future? Correct.
Yeah, but it would be better for Evermore, I guess. Like, we'd be $6 million richer, but
Right. And you're trying to point out to them, we're trying to save you money, do things
yeah,
the way we're trying to suggest to you. This is brilliant
yeah.
on your part. Jennifer,
Mhm.
so what have you been hearing from members and families since learning about the directive?
So they're all very upset. There's about 300 emails that have gone out to Commissioner Chaw and Commissioner Seafried from the division and the Department of Health. So they have been informed, but we're not sure about the response they've received. But families are really upset and they want to help in any way they can. So they've been trying to reach out and get some answers, but unfortunately we don't have any answers for them right now. And we're just trying our best to be there and support them and know that we're fighting as hard as we can to do the right thing.
Well, Commissioner Chaw's been on this show. He's a wonderful guy. Hopefully he will
Mhm.
listen and consider. I know he has best intentions at heart, and hopefully he'll listen to
Absolutely.
everything and figure it
I've
out.
actually, I
Yeah.
actually have, I've actually reached out to him because as someone with autism, I'm entitled to accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and I've given the Division of Disabilities notice, but I haven't received a response. Even with the ADA coordinator of the department telling them they have to respond to me, they still haven't responded to me. So I'm hoping Cha, knowing how great he is, can definitely help in this situation.
Well, hopefully we'll give a little hashtag and send it to them from this show, and hopefully that'll help nudge a little bit. A little nudge never hurt anybody. Give us your website, the Evermore website, please, for more information.
Our website is just evermorelifestylesolutions.com. Super simple.
Perfect. Evermore founder and executive director Jennifer Overfield and director of operations Jackie Mack. Thank you both for coming on this morning. Best of luck with everything. Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate it,
you.
Ken.
We appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. All right. Good for them. God bless them. It is 63 degrees right now. 8:14 when we come back. June is Brain Awareness and Alzheimer's Month. We'll talk about ways to support memory health. Sunshine today, highs low 80s. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:16, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sunshine today. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast. Mike, it is pretty up and down the state.
It is gorgeous today, Ken. Good morning to you. Sunshine abounds, and with the lower humidity, feels very pleasant. Clear sky all around New Jersey. Stays nice and dry through this afternoon. And with temperatures warming into the mid 80s, it'll feel lovely with that abundance of sunshine, a lovely light breeze from the south, keeping dew points or the temperature where they are saturated nice and low today. We get a little bit of humidity that returns by the end of the day tomorrow. You see these temperatures in the 60s, especially down the shore, and then much more humid for Friday. When that dew point hits 70, that's Florida levels of humidity. So it feels much more humid to start off the weekend. Saturday keeps that humidity around, but at least the heat index is in check throughout today and tomorrow. You can thank a little bit of rain for that. It'll feel like the 90s by Friday afternoon before the rain comes down. And then I think on Sunday afternoon, another round of dry weather takes over. So a little bit of a warm up and a little bit more humidity as we go through the day. Lovely amounts of UV today, lots of sun. Need the sunscreen. UV is at an 8, which is very high. So all across the Northeast, we have this clear sky, and the Futurecast keeps us nice and dry through this afternoon until we get you tomorrow night. We'll talk more about that coming up with your next weather update, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. It is 8:18. We have a temp of 63 degrees northern New Jersey, 67 degrees in Trenton, and we have a mess of traffic to tell you about. Let's go to I-80 right now. We have massive delays, I-80 eastbound from west of exit 34, Route 15, and that goes all the way to west of exit 35, Mount Hope Ave and Rockaway. All lanes are open. There isn't a crash. This is sun in the face. That's what this is. So, we got another shot Pam wants to show us. Look at this. Oh, there is a wreck. See, they don't have this reported. That's the problem. See, leave it to Pam and her eagle eyes. That's the problem. So, the traffic folks are not saying that there's a wreck, but Pam caught it. So there you go. So this happens to be on I-80 eastbound, just west of 34 to west of 35. That's about a mile and a half. All lanes are open, but you can see on the shoulder there's that wreck. So that's why everything's delayed. Interesting. All right, Pam, thank you for the eagle eyes. We go over to the Hudson River crossings right now. An absolute bumper to bumper mess into the Holland Tunnel. We're talking 40 minutes if it's a second. Look at this. This is Route 139. Also stopped. Those cars there where it says SE on the right side, that's stopped. They're not moving. And that's about a 40-minute delay into Manhattan right now, into the Holland Tunnel. Look at that absolute mess. The Lincoln Tunnel, not that much better. It's only about 35 minutes. You'll save 5 minutes going to the Lincoln. By the time you get there, it'll probably be 40 as well. GWB also very heavy. The 8095 approach, we take a look from the backside. The right, right there, that is the lower level approach. I don't know why we can't see the upper. They don't have it widened out. But the lower level, very heavy. From that point, when you get to that overpass, that's about 40 minutes in. So anywhere you go, it's about 40 minutes into Manhattan. And at this hour, it's only going to get worse because you got another half an hour at least before things usually start to lighten up. It is 20 minutes past 8 o'clock, and June is Brain Awareness and Alzheimer's Month, a time to focus on the growing need for innovative ways to support memory health and caregiver connections. Sharon Wood is the CEO and founder of Happy People Games. She is a gaming industry veteran who helped launch major entertainment brands and is now using the power of games and music and storytelling to help older adults and families facing cognitive decline. And she's here today to discuss the new Forevers. It's a new platform designed to spark memories and bring generations together. It is so good to have you on. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. And it is a good morning, isn't it? It's finally pretty out.
Amen. Well, it's also a good morning that you and I are not sitting in that traffic. Isn't that nice? I'm so
That's
good
for
every day.
sure. Yep.
I talk to you as a person who has a 95 and a half-year-old father with dementia. It's vascular, and it is getting worse. And I see him a couple of times a week, and I just watch it get worse and worse and worse. And whenever our producer, Izzy, makes sure that we get as many people on as possible to talk about brain health. And so I was so excited to see this. You spent decades in the gaming industry. You even helped launch the famous Grand Theft Auto. So what inspired you to turn your attention to memory health and aging?
Well, I had a beloved grandmother who didn't have dementia, although had symptoms, who just disappeared in front of my eyes. And then my father, too, had severe Alzheimer's. and it was the angry version. And it was heartbreaking to see this happy pre-Santa Claus guy become so sad and angry. And so using the power of video games to do a few things to not cure dementia or Alzheimer's, but provide a solution to bring back some dignity to people who are suffering with dementia and Alzheimer's, to try to exercise your brain to prevent it. We don't talk enough about exercising your brain, and break the isolation. If I can't remember who I am and I don't recognize you, what are we going to talk about? And so we wanted to use the power of video games to address those three things because we knew games could be a solution.
So are we saying that like the whole like generations of younger people, male and female, because a lot of people have the misconception that women are not into video games. Female video gaming is huge. I know a lot of
Yeah.
women into video games
Well,
actually.
51% of gamers are female,
Right. I think that comes as a shock to a lot of people because we've had people on the
right?
show giving that statistic, and I'm like, what? Even I was originally shocked by that. But the does that mean that maybe Alzheimer's and dementia will see a reduction because, or at least an extension in terms of when the onset occurs because more and more people are involved in video games and keeping their brain engaged?
So the what we've done is gamified a therapy. There is something called reminiscence therapy. This is a hugely powerful memory stimulant. So the memories that go first are the more recent memories. But the memories, the fond older memories, stick around, and that kind of makes sense because who doesn't remember what was playing in on their first date or during prom or things like that? It's a soundtrack of your life, and so those sticky memories can be used to exercise the more recent memories that are starting to fail.
Interesting. So, and that is fascinating because if you engage my dad and ask him about his brothers, he comes from a family of 9 boys. He'll go through all 9 of them in order, no problem. If you ask him if he remembered yesterday was Father's Day, I mean, this was Monday, I was with him. If you ask him, I said, yesterday, Dad, you remember what we did? Nope,
No,
nothing.
right,
5 minutes earlier, sometimes nothing. And it's amazing how
right.
that it's like RAM memory versus stored memory, right? It's sort of like our brain is a
Well,
computer
and
and it's the
also
RAM that's
dear
important.
memory, right? The
Mhm.
memory that you just love, that sort of defined who you became, um, are the memories that stick around. And what was so interesting when I started exploring this product, I talked to a researcher, a brain researcher at University of California, Irvine, and he said, "Look, we got the word out that physical exercise is really important for heart health. It can't completely prevent a heart attack or stroke, but it can certainly do a lot to deter it. But we didn't get the message out about the importance of constantly exercising your brain. And as we get older and maybe we don't work anymore, and so our brain isn't as active as it had been, we forget that the brain is a muscle and it's got to get exercise too."
Yeah. And one thing we did notice for the record, and I'm sorry to keep referring back to my experience, but with my dad, he's deaf in one ear, and then he's now developing some difficulties in the other. And he's basically blind in one eye because of retinal detachment, and he's starting to get glaucoma and whatnot in the other. That his downhill spiral began as his visual and AUR, oral, abilities started to decline. So the ability to interact using those senses with the brain stopped. Therefore, the interactivity with the brain stopped, and we think that that's what's sped up the decline. I mean, he is almost 96, so God, thank God we've had 96 great years. But I think a lot of that has to do. So the idea of being able to interact with a game would be very difficult for him because of the visual and the hearing issues. But yet I can see how if you have those senses, keep doing this, get engaged. So now you have happy people games. Tell us about some of the specific games that help people that interact.
So we're using the power of reminiscence because it's a connector. So that isolation is also an accelerant of dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms. And what we want to do is give people things that they can do, that they can enjoy, but also do with others. That's as important. So we have, excuse me, a product called Timeless Tunes. And we licensed the original music from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And so we've got Elvis and Glenn Campbell and even Lawrence Welk is in there, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. So it kind of plays like Name That Tune. However, it's not meant to be a stumper. We give you visual clues to stimulate those memories. And you're going to remember a 10, 20, or 30-second loop, get a score, and then challenge someone to beat you. So just anecdotally, my 8-year-old grandson can play this game because of the visual clues, but I can beat him because I actually remember the games, right? And so we want that good-natured fun to exist and reconnect people. And also we're using that music that should be stickier because it's the soundtrack of their youth. Then we have a different product that uses visual memories, and that's called still frames. And so you're basically creating a collage of a moment of your life. Could be funniest family vacation, funniest get together, what my dad means to me, things like that. And we've also heard anecdotally that some seniors use it to not only create a picture, a visualization of their youth to pass it on to the next generations, but also use it to pass along the wisdom that they picked up along the way. So two different approaches, but using your memories. So these are your memories. These aren't, is this a frog or a lily pad kind of thing, right? This is, let's use your memories, the stuff that's in there that makes you smile, and make it turn-based, because with still frames, if my dad were still alive, I would start out funniest family vacation, put a couple of images in. I can use pictures from my camera roll, pass it to him, and see if it's stimulating memories and if he can connect the other visuals that go along with that image. So again, creating that connection, showing them that there's stuff they can still do because we want them to feel a sense of pride and dignity, and then using those stronger memories to exercise the recent memories.
I can't wait to get online and get this for my dad. I want to try this out ASAP. I'll do it today. What is the website, Sharon, for more information?
It's thenewforevers.com. So we named the brand The New Forevers because I don't know anybody 50 or 65 and older who likes being a number. So it's The New Forevers. That's all of you out there. I mean, I'm so glad you're getting the word out too, because Alzheimer's is one of the leading causes of death in New Jersey. New Jersey consistently is top 10 in the country. And so finding these types of solutions that can, it's like salving a wound, right? We can't cure it, but we can certainly ease the journey through it.
And it's just so evil for these people who've spent their entire lives building a life, building a family, to have everything stolen from them at the end is just awful. And if this could
But
in any
again,
way extend
yeah,
it, yeah.
use
Go ahead.
use those fond memories, which tend to be, I mean, if you have that many in your family, there's probably lots of memories that you could be talking about
Right.
with him. And if that's where he lives, remember, we're going where they are. We're not forcing them to do something they can't do, which is just going to cause frustration and sadness. So it's using their strengths that they still have to bring them some joy.
CEO and founder of Happy People Games, Sharon Wood, using all her expertise in the gaming industry to do such a great thing. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Please come back again. This is too important not to keep talking about. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You as well. Enjoy the beautiful weather. All right, it is 8:31. When we come back, our friend Anthony Pizzi from the New Jersey Pizza Alliance is going to be here to talk about a recent visit to the Garden State by none other than Dave Portnoy, the guy from Barstool Sports who tests all the pizzerias by having a bite from the crust end. How did our pizzerias fare? We'll be right back. Very good morning to you. Wednesday, June 24th, 2026, 8:33. Ken Rosato back in on New Jersey mornings. Back with on New Jersey mornings. Take two. Sunshine today. Highs are the low 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike. I need my ninth cup of
Good.
coffee, I think.
Yeah, Ken, that's it. You need the sunshine today to warm you up, right? Start off your day on the right foot. It's a beautiful way to begin a morning, and we've got a beautiful beach day ahead as well, with the temperature rivaling that of Sunday. Low humidity, lots of clear sky. What a beautiful day to be outdoors, especially down the shore, where highs today reach the low to mid 80s. A little bit of a light breeze out of the north and west that may allow some pollen to return, but I gotta say, over the last few days, with the lower level of pollen, thanks to all of that rain, I think we'll be doing pretty decent on the allergy meter today. As far as the almanac, we're back up to the average high of 84 degrees. It'll feel quite pleasant through this afternoon. Clear sky all around, water temperatures warming into the 70s. However, there are certain beaches that have experienced upwelling, whereas that colder water comes from up deep and allows for a little bit of a cool down. That may have happened over toward Atlantic City, where your water temperature dropped recently. But beyond that, we're nice and dry. And even though there's a little bit of rain tomorrow later at night, there's no severe weather threat as of yet. I have to wait and see what happens this weekend. I think Saturday may have some early morning showers that eventually clear by Saturday afternoon. So the futurecast has lovely clear sky overhead, bringing back the low humidity into tomorrow. Then a little bit more muggy weather returns by tomorrow afternoon. I think we're still generally dry during the day. It's later tomorrow night that the rain returns, lasts throughout the day on Friday, and then maybe is slow to clear across southern New Jersey by Saturday. So could take a few days to see that wet weather clear out, and then we're back to sunshine, especially for Sunday, where highs warm to 86 degrees. A little bit of muggy weather returns by Monday and Tuesday of next week, letting you know that summer is here. If you go down the shore, you'll experience a little bit better chance of rain, especially on Saturday. But I think Sunday clears out nicely, and then in the 90s next week. So that warm weather, Ken, is right upon us in just about a week's time.
Nice to see when Mother Nature pays attention to the calendar.
It is
I don't
nice,
want to
yeah.
complain, but. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. We'll check back. 62 degrees northern New Jersey, 67 in Trenton. It's 60 now in Cape May and 64 degrees in Vineland. 8:36 is our time in New Jersey. I know we're going to cause a lot of people to be pissed off in Brooklyn, but New Jersey is arguably the pizza capital of America. You don't have some great places in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. I think probably DeFara's in Brooklyn is one of the greatest pizzas in America. You can't take that away. You have great Arturo's in Manhattan, sure, but we have probably more per capita of great pizzerias in New Jersey than anywhere else. And the iconic Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, toured the state, tested what he believes are some of the best pies in the Garden State. And our friend Anthony Pizzi of the New Jersey Pizza Alliance is here to talk about his visit. First off, good morning to you, Anthony. Good to have you on, buddy.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Ken. He came, he saw, he took one bite, and it was incredible to see in person. It was amazing.
So first off, number one, I thank you for always bringing it with the cool outfits and the cool sunglasses. Anthony Pizzi always does it. So now there he is. Where did he go? What pizzerias did Dave hit?
So he hit Bona Pizza in Westfield, gave them a 7.4. Garwood Pizza Company in Garwood, New Jersey, gave them a 7.8. Hit Familia's Pizza in Parsippany, 7.9. Then he hit Third Proof Pizza, 8.2 in Montville, New Jersey, and hit Bucky's in Chatham, New Jersey, and gave them a massive 8.5. This time around, Dave came. He wasn't messing around. He gave some really big scores, and I expect that this week these shops are going to be really busy.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, if you get a 7 or above, that's considered very good. So it's not like the people who got in the low 7s, that doesn't mean they suck. That means they're good. But the fact that, it just shows how competitive the pizza market is here in New Jersey, that you would have like Bucky's is just off the chart delicious. And by the way, our friend and of course I'm forgetting the name. What's the name of the pizzeria on Route 3 that also that was number
Lucci's.
2? Lucci's. I finally got to Lucci's last week. I went on a Saturday night coming back from the city, stopped in at 1 or 2 in the morning, and they were open. They're open till I think 2 a.m. on the weekends, on Friday and Saturday overnights, and had a slice, a vegetable slice that I could have eaten my fingers. That's how good this slice was. We just have great pizzerias. And I did have the meatballs at Lucci's. Didn't they win best meatball, I think, this year?
They
So
did. Shout out to Timmy. Timmy has built an amazing pizzeria over in Clifton, and he did a great job at Pizza Bowl. Those meatballs were delicious, and he's got a great pizza.
they do. And well, and it just and you know what's nice is they're nice guys. He's great. Of course, the owner of, for those who don't know the story of Bucky's, tell the story of Bucky's, how this guy was literally let go from his corporate job 2 weeks before his first baby was going to be born. And he didn't know what to do. And he opened a pizza truck, and boom, the rest is history. Now he's got the best, literally the best pizza in the state of New Jersey. And he had never eaten pizza before. That's what drives me
I know.
insane. What a
I know.
story.
It's incredible because when I met Dom was still doing mobile pop-ups at breweries. And people were all talking about this place. Like, you got to go try out Bucky's. This place is no joke. I ended up meeting Dom in person for the first time at the New Jersey Pizza Festival at Monmouth Park Racetrack back in 2024. We had them there, and they did a phenomenal job. And obviously, I've seen him, over the years. I've popped in. I've been to the new shop, and of course at the Pizza Bowl, and that's where me and you were testing out their pizza, and they ended up winning the whole thing.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, this isn't about what we're talking about here and the New Jersey Pizza Alliance. This isn't about pitting one pizzeria against the other. This is about embracing and celebrating all the hard-working pizza shop owners in the state of New Jersey. We're not about he's better than him and he's better than him. That's not what this is about. I think people sometimes misperceive what this is. We, having owned a pizzeria, not me personally, but my dad, and have worked in it. We used to, do our 15, 20-hour days. It's a hard business. And this is to applaud the hardworking people in New Jersey who get up early and stay late. And sometimes it's thankless. Some days you work real hard, and because of the season, you got no business for the day. It's tough. So here's what I would say: support your local pizzerias, and not just one. Try the different pizzerias in your town. And if there's something that you like about one, you don't like about the other, you should politely let the owner know and say, "Hey, you know what? You guys are really good. If only you could try that. See if that makes a difference." Without being insulting. Let them know you could change the whole trajectory of their business, and embrace them all and celebrate them, because guess what? We eat so much freaking pizza in New Jersey. There's room for all of them, isn't there?
There is. And two things I think we have to start talking about, on a side note, right? So something I'm noticing is important noise scores, just kind of being there and seeing it and kind of getting the reaction for everyone. I think, New Jersey needs to get over that 9, that 9 score. I mean, it's not all about a score at the end of the day. These are real local businesses. But, if people are trying to set up a goal and they want to get over, they want to get themselves on a map, essentially, we need to figure out how to, have New Jersey be a 9 without, trying to replicate New Haven, Connecticut. Because right now, New Haven, Connecticut has more 9s than anywhere in the country. They do coal-fired ovens. We don't do that here. We do, New York-style pizza. We do, Marsal's and, Baker's Pride, stuff like that. We use gas ovens. So we really need to have that conversation. And number two, I think a lot of people need to go try Third Proof Pizza in Montville, New Jersey, because I personally thought the 8.2 was a little too low. But listen, you can't question El Presidente. The guy has been all over the country. He's tried a bunch of different pizza. But this place is special to me. 25-year-old kid starting his first business within 6 months, getting over an 8 score. This place is no joke. And I think a lot of people need to go check out Third Proof Pizza and
What are
try
you
it for
doing for
themselves
lunch?
to see what they think.
What are you doing for lunch today?
I'm free. I'm free. What are we doing, Ken? Let's go.
I'll see you at 11. You want to go to like 11:30? I'll meet you there for lunch. I'm not kidding.
Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right. Because I haven't tried it yet. I got to try it. Now you got me. Now you got me, my friend. Tell everybody a way to see more about New Jersey Pizza Alliance. You have Instagram and you got all the social, right?
Yeah, so you can go to at NJ Pizza Alliance on Instagram. And if you guys want to keep up to date on what's going on with these One Bite scores, download the One Bite app. It's the best way to discover local pizzerias.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to try this today, my friend. We'll see you at 11:30. All right. Very, very good.
Sounds great.
Anthony
See you
Pizzi,
there.
New Jersey's own from the New Jersey Pizza Alliance. Anthony Pizzi, as always, our pizza king of New Jersey. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
You bet. New Jersey, definitely the pizza capital for sure. But if you want to try the coal oven pizza that he's talking about, New Haven is unreal. The closest I know of that's really good, coal oven, there's Arturo's, but you got to buy the whole pie, and that's in Greenwich Village. It's worth the drive, believe me. I've had it, and it's garlicky, it's delicious, and you taste that coal. It's unbelievable. All right, right now we have a temperature of 62 degrees, 844. When we come back, it is budget season in New Jersey. One issue getting attention in Trenton, nursing home funding and accountability. And our friends from AARP New Jersey will present a segment you will not want to miss. We're back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 846, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a beautiful Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. We picked up anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain over the last few days, had a few downpours, and that's put a nice dent in the drought. Still seeing those below average numbers, though, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches below average, at least across northern and central parts of the state, even down south. So the drought continues, but we'll likely see some improvement when the new data comes out tomorrow. As far as today's weather, dry and sunny, loads of clear sky, low humidity too, with temperatures in the mid 80s, very seasonable. Feeling lovely for the first few days of summer. As the dry weather persists into the beginning of July, we'll take you through July 4th, the warmth comes back in a big way. So the next 2 weeks, anticipate a warm up ahead with a lot of that heat centered over the Midwest, but we enjoy some of that over the next 2 weeks as well. Look at the temperatures climb well into the 80s, likely into the low 90s by early next week. And then as we head down the shore, warmer weather as well, with those temperatures nice and warm, like toasty. This time next week could be on the heels of our next heat wave, getting into the 90s by Tuesday. And that will likely take us into our first heat wave of the summer, Ken.
Oh boy, the first of what will be many, likely. All right,
Yeah,
thank you
I'm
very
sure.
much, sir. Appreciate you. Yes. We got a lot of traffic to tell you about. First off, let's go to the New Jersey Turnpike. We have a crash at the inner roadway southbound, south of interchange 13, Route 278, Goethals Bridge area in Linden. Left lane is blocked, and you can see that right there. And just an absolute mess. And that's causing about a mile to a mile and a half delay. So try to avoid that area if at all possible, please. We also have problems on Route 4, disabled vehicle, Route 4. That is eastbound, east of River Road, Teaneck. The center lane is closed. That's causing about a 2 mile delay. Trying to get a camera shot for you for that. We have a fuel spill that just happened westbound Route 3. Just west of Route 17 in Rutherford. That area is always bad. And now we got a major problem with a fuel spill there. That's got to be taken care of. Your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland. Oh, that was 80, wasn't that? 80 at 15, we have an accident that's being cleared. That was Route 3. Okay. So 80 at 15, we have an accident that's being cleared right now. That's a left lane and the left shoulder impacted. The Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, are both now 45 minutes in, and the GWB upper and lower levels, bumper to bumper. And this is 45 to 60. Right now, you're looking at the lower level entry. That's actually better than the upper level. But either way, it's going to cost you a lot of time. So give yourselves the extra travel time today. Pack your patience. It's a beautiful day. Take a deep breath. And the following is brought to you by our good friends at AARP New Jersey. For many nursing home residents, a small monthly allowance is their only source of spending money for everyday essentials and personal items. Advocates say New Jersey's personal needs allowance has not kept pace with the rising costs, leaving many residents struggling to afford basic necessities and maintain a sense of independence. Joining us now are Louis Bonilla and James Cook of Nursing Home Residents United to discuss efforts to increase that allowance and what it would mean for residents across the state. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Nice to have you on. Now, for people that don't realize, when you go into a nursing home, if you're on your own, you sign over your Social Security to them, right? And you're only given
That's
back a
correct.
stipend. You're given like a few dollars. Like, how small is it? What is it, like $15 a month or a week or something? Some ridiculousness
It's
like that?
it's $50 a month. They deduct it from our Social Security. They also retain pensions, 401k, and sometimes homes. $50 is like less than $2 a day.
Ridiculous. And you have to do things like if you want to get your own toothpaste or whatever, that's like that. I guess they would supply some generic stuff, but if you want your own brand for whatever reason, you got to pay for yourself and you don't have the money now.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
don't have the money for it. It's very hard. You have to go out and be able to depend on family to get your stuff that you might need. Toiletries, clothing. Clothing takes me months to have to budget for my size to be able to buy a few garments. It's a hard thing to do.
I love
What is
music. I love
Go ahead,
music.
please. Go ahead.
CDs are now $30. Books are over $30. It's when one of my friends passed away, we a couple of us got together to do a memorial dinner, and 3 pizzas, drinks, and delivery came to $100. $50 in the Garden State with the cost of living. It's just not enough for us to be independent.
Well, what's infuriating, and we've had people on talking about this, is that many of the nursing homes now are group owned. So they own a whole chain of nursing homes. And it's sort of a gimmick because they then have subsidiaries that own the clothing supplier, the clothing washer, the linen washer, the food supplier. It's all owned under the umbrella of the same nursing home, and they just pat it, and then they get rid of a lot of workers. I'm not trying to besmirch all nursing homes, but having seen it now with my parents, this is what's happening all too often. And then they bill the state, $1 billion. And this money gets paid. And if it doesn't get paid, then they make it look like, well, you're being mean to elderly people. No. The elderly people are getting screwed. They're just being very selfish as a corporation. And this does happen way too often. And then they leave people like you with $50 a month for your personal needs. So now with your organization, have you been petitioning the state in order to get that $50 raised for a personal allowance that's maybe livable?
Jay and I have testified in Trenton. Tell them about it, Jay.
Yeah, we have testified with the legislation, and we have been advocating with our residents in the nursing homes and throughout the Residents United with the Ombudsman's office.
Yeah, it is to think that you gentlemen have lived a life, you've served society, and now you just want to relax and enjoy your older years. And the idea, and in many cases, you had no choice, right? You're in a nursing home because that's what the circumstances are, and then to be treated like like a number it's just so disrespectful. It is so wrong. So thank you for doing what you're doing to get the point across. What number, hopefully, at least, would you like to try to see them get that allowance up to?
We're going for 140 a month with the cost of living increase every year. We've been advocating for this bill for over 2 years now. So it's about time they signed the bill.
Yeah, I mean, think about folks watching at home. 140 a month is what? It's like four something a day, $4 some odd cents a day. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about you guys going out and spending money on the horses. We're talking about just the basics in order to get some toothpaste or a slice of pizza or something on top of what is the day-to-day regime in the nursing home. Where do you think that this is headed? Do you think that there's any shot at this point?
Yes, I do think there's a very good shot. There is. When we spoke to the legislators about the last month, we spoke to them, and a bunch of the legislators were upset about the whole situation. There was one legislator that teared up when she was speaking back to us about it. So I think it has a very good shot.
We've spoken to a lot of legislators since January, and they've all been positive on supporting the bill. So we're hopeful.
Well, the state, it looks like they have an agreement on the budget for 2027 right now, but they haven't written the details. And as they say, the devil's in the details, right? So we're hoping they only have the next couple of days to get everything written out because it has to be voted on and passed through committee, et cetera, for the 30th, because on July 1st, if they don't have something passed, they don't have a budget. So right now, like I'm sure you've already testified, get everybody to make the phone calls to your state assembly and Senate members to make sure that this is in any kind of spending bill for 2027 right now, because otherwise you just look at the faces on the screen. These gentlemen represent thousands upon thousands of people in nursing homes who literally have their lives signed over to the nursing homes, who then administer $50 a month to these gentlemen to spend for everything that they need, your extras and whatnot, your toothpaste, your toothbrush. Think about the day-to-day stuff that you spend at your local pharmacy, and think of how expensive it is. And think about these folks right here. What message would you like to each say? We'll start with James. If you could talk directly to people who need to call their lawmakers.
It's hard. Call your lawmakers. It's a very hard thing with $50 a month. We don't get real good meals in here. We need our toiletries. We need our clothing. It's please, bring it up to $140.
And Lewis, how about yourself, my friend?
You're very well informed, Ken. For more information, please contact the Long-Term Care Ombudsman, the LTCO. They helped us form Nursing Home Residents United, our coalition. We've been advocating for a couple of years now.
All right. Louis Bonilla, James Cook of Nursing Home Residents United, best of luck. We pray for you. And thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Think of these folks. Think of these folks. Don't let it happen, because it'll happen to you otherwise. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.